Received message from my attorney during my daughter's piano recital. Welcome to cheating scenario, he texted. Delilah under oath in family court testified our finances were depleted. I require those bank statements immediately. I scrutinized my phone as Delilah stood before a judge. At that precise moment, we claimed bankruptcy. I accessed my banking app and began capturing screenshots, transactions, withdrawals, expenses. Then I found it, a $40,000 holiday package Delilah had booked with Bryce, her fitness coach, 3 weeks prior to filing for divorce. I promptly forwarded all the information to Leonard before my daughter completed her performance. This wasn't the conclusion I envisioned for our marriage. 15 years together, 2 children, a mortgage we were mere years away from settling. Delilah worked as a pharmaceutical sales representative. I oversaw IT infrastructure for a healthcare net. We weren't affluent, but we lived comfortably, or so I believed. However, problems emerged 8 months before she filed for divorce, with Delilah developing an obsession with wellness. Delilah engaged Bryce as her personal trainer for thrice-weekly sessions at a posh downtown gym. Discussions veered towards energy alignment and self-discovery. I surmised it was a midlife crisis, so I endorsed it. I even advocated for her to prioritize herself. Yet mounting credit card bills arrived, detailing expenses on boutique fitness retreats, organic meal preparation services, and a $3,000 stationary bike. When I questioned the expenditure, Delilah grew defensive. She accused me of attempting to dictate her actions, asserting I failed to grasp her personal journey, implying that perhaps I was the cause of her feeling confined. I retreated. In January, she informed me she required space. She moved into our guest house, a repurposed garage apartment we'd previously built for my mother before her demise. Delilah stated it was temporary, claiming she needed to work through certain matters. The children remained in the main house with me. I attempted marriage counseling, which she rejected, and inquired if there was someone else, only to be met with laughter. This is why we're falling apart, she asserted. You always think it's all about you. On Valentine's Day, I found divorce documents on the kitchen counter after returning from work. She had strategically planned a ruthless petition. Delilah accused me of financial irresponsibility, claiming I made risky investments without her knowledge, causing our savings to dwindle due to my mismanagement. She sought primary custody, the house, 70% of remaining assets, alimony, and all this from Leonard Briggs, an attorney recommended by a colleague. Leonard, a seasoned attorney in his 50s with silver hair and a reputation for meticulous preparation, read through the petition during our initial meeting. He stated that she was portraying me as careless with money. Is there any truth to that? I replied there wasn't. I handle our finances, and I have every statement, every investment summary, every receipt to prove it. That's good because if she's lying about this, she might be lying about other things too. Gather detailed records for all financial transactions, bank accounts, credit cards, investment portfolios, PayPal, Venmo, and so on. Trace back these records for 2 years. In the following week, I pieced together records, uncovering information from June last year that left me feeling ill. Delilah had been systematically transferring funds, initially small amounts like $500 or $1,000, from our joint savings to an unknown personal checking account she'd opened under her name alone at a different bank since June. Over the course of 8 months, she moved approximately $87,000 without my knowledge. However, this was not the most concerning revelation. Delving further, I uncovered charges on a concealed account for luxury gym memberships, weekend getaways to Napa, Miami, Scottsdale, extravagant meals, hotel accommodations, and eventually, a $40,000 charge for Mediterranean luxury escapes a 3-week trip for 2, set to depart April 19th and return May 10th. The reservation was made under Delilah Hartwell and Bryce Morrison's names. At 2 a.m. in my home office, I scrutinized the confirmation, discovering couples massages, ocean view suites, yacht excursions, wine tastings in Santorini, all planned for a romantic getaway by my partner with her personal trainer, using funds from our shared savings account, while concurrently declaring in court documents that we had no money. I sent the evidence to Leonard. An hour later, he called me, stating this was fraudulent activity, possibly also perjury depending on what she says in court. Should we confront the fact that these records indicate she moved the funds herself when she claimed you had depleted your savings? I inquired. Leonard suggested we let her continue to lie. Our strategy would be to request a hearing, allow her attorney to put her on the stand, have her testify under oath that you are responsible for the missing money, and then overwhelm her with evidence. I find this approach risky, but Leonard argued it's not. If we reveal our hand now, she might claim misunderstanding about the accounts. However, if she lies under oath in front of a judge, that's perjury, which could severely damage her credibility in matters related to custody, assets, alimony, and more. I trusted him, but the weeks preceding the hearing felt bizarre as Delilah portrayed herself as the wronged party. She told our children that I was being unreasonable and spread rumors to neighbors about me hiding money from her. She shared enigmatic social media posts concerning narcissistic mistreatment and financial extortion. While I remained silent, I meticulously recorded every encounter, each text message, and her assertions. Bryce, the personal trainer, ceased posting on Instagram. I found this intriguing. One evening, my daughter questioned me as to why I was perpetually angry. At 9 years old, she should not have had to ponder such a question. Adults often disagree about things, I replied. "It'll be okay," I assured her. I hoped I wasn't deceiving her. The court hearing was scheduled for March 27th in the family courthouse. Leonard prepared me for 3 hours prior, stating she would portray me as domineering and fiscally imprudent. He warned that her attorney would inquire about investment losses, spending habits, and whether I sought her input on significant purchases. "Remain composed, answer directly, and don't get defensive," he advised. "What about the evidence?" I inquired. "I have it arranged chronologically. Financial records, credit card transactions, images of travel bookings will be shown on the court screen. After her attorney concludes, I will begin, and we shall let the evidence decide its weight. Should she dispute it, Leonard pointed out, bank records cannot be denied. And if she attempts, it would only exacerbate matters. That evening I had little sleep. The courtroom was smaller than anticipated, bathed in fluorescent light and painted a dull beige. A judge's podium at the front and 2 tables for legal representation. Delilah sat with her attorney, Caldwell, a 40-something woman with defined features and an expensive suit. Delilah, in a modest navy dress and minimal makeup, looked weary, empathetic, like one who had been wronged. Judge Brennan, a man in his 60s with reading glasses and gray hair, commenced the hearing. Caldwell rose. "Your Honor, this case concerns my client's financial hardship caused by her husband's mismanagement of their shared assets." Delilah testified in court about Hartwell's financial state, stating they had no savings and their joint account was almost depleted when filing for divorce. Her tone was calm but expressive. She inquired about the missing funds from the account, but her husband evaded questions. He made investments but wouldn't disclose specifics, leaving Delilah feeling excluded from their shared finances. This uncertainty filled her with fear, as she was responsible for 2 children and wondered how she would provide for them. Due to financial constraints, I was forced to reside in the guest house. My husband reacted as if I was exaggerating, acting as though my predicament wasn't significant. Caldwell gave me a sympathetic nod. "In your sworn financial declaration, you claimed that the joint savings account held less than $5,000, correct?" "Yes, and this is due to your husband's financial choices, correct?" "I can't say for certain where the money went, but it disappeared." Caldwell took a seat. "No more questions, Your Honor." Judge Brennan glanced at Leonard. "Rebuttal examination." Leonard stood up. He smoothed his suit jacket. "You testified that your joint savings account had less than $5,000 when you filed for divorce, correct?" "Yes," Delilah confirmed. "And you stated you didn't know what happened to the funds." "That's true," Leonard nodded before returning to our table and picking up a folder. "Judge, I wish to submit Exhibit A as evidence, which consists of bank statements for the shared savings account of Mr. and Mrs. Hartwell from June last year until February this year." Judge Brennan inspected the documents. "Accepted," Leonard addressed the bailiff. "Can we display these on the screen?" The court screen lit up. The first bank statement appeared, with June of last year's balance shown as $94,000, which Leonard pointed out. "Recognize this balance, Mrs. Hartwell?" Delilah's expression tightened. "Yes, $94,000, Leonard reiterated. "Now let us examine the transaction history for July." The screen switched. Transfers out were shown, $500, $1,000, $2,000. "These transfers," Leonard questioned. "To where did they go?" "I don't know," Delilah replied. "You would have to ask my husband." "Hartwell, the transfers were made to an account at Capitol Heights Bank, titled Delilah Hartwell. Is it accurate that you opened this account in May of last year?" Delilah hesitated. "I don't remember." Leonard presented another document. "Your Honor, Exhibit B, the account opening records for Capitol Heights Bank showing Ms. Hartwell's signature and ID verification." Judge Brennan leaned forward. "Did you open this account, Hartwell?" "I may have," Delilah replied. "I don't recall the specifics." "Let me help jog your memory," Leonard said. He scrolled through additional statements. From June to February, $87,000 was transferred from your joint savings into this personal account. $87,000. The courtroom grew quiet. Now, let's discuss what you did with that money, Leonard continued, pulling up credit card bills. These charges are all from your personal account. Mediterranean luxury escapes for a 3-week vacation package worth $40,000. Is this expense familiar to you? Pale-faced, Delilah replied. I'm not aware of the matter at hand. Leonard swiftly navigated to the next image, revealing a vacation booking confirmation. 2 names, Delilah Hartwell and Bryce Morrison, he read out. Departure date, April 19th. A 2-person holiday, Leonard stated. Premium Ocean View Suite, couples spa packages, private yacht excursion, $40,000 billed to the account you shared. Recognize this booking from our joint savings. Delilah stared at the screen, silent. Judge Brennan put down his glasses. Ms. Hartwell, please respond to the query. I was arranging a getaway, Delilah murmured. Asked if with Bryce Morrison, she retorted, that's private information. But the records indicate you personally handled the funds. You deposited $87,000 into a private account, spending $40,000 on a lavish trip with another man. Is that accurate? Delilah cast her gaze towards her lawyer. Caldwell's expression remained impassive. I wish to amend my testimony, Delilah admitted. Judge Brennan leaned back in his chair. That's not the procedure. You took an oath. Your statements were either truthful or they weren't. I erred, Delilah said, her voice breaking. I was muddled about the accounts. Mistake, Leonard countered. You established the account, made the transfers, arranged the vacation. These aren't errors, these are decisions, and you misrepresented them in a sworn financial disclosure. Judge Brennan scrutinized the documents on the screen. Ms. Hartwell, did you declare that personal account in your financial statement? Delilah remained silent. Your Honor, Leonard stated, she did not. The statement claimed all savings were shared, and that those savings had been depleted by Mr. Caldwell. Judge Brennan closed the file and addressed Caldwell. Please carefully review your client's disclosures, he instructed. The hearing was postponed for 30 days. Hartwell was commanded to present a comprehensive and precise account of all personal bank accounts, transfers, and expenses during the marriage. If any deliberate distortion is discovered, the matter will be handed over to the district attorney's office. Caldwell replied with your honor, and the courtroom cleared swiftly. Delilah remained motionless at the defendant's table. Caldwell prepared her briefcase with brisk, hostile gestures. Leonard leaned towards me. It turned out better than anticipated. What happens next? I inquired. Now we wait. If she conceals any more information, she'll only worsen her situation, he replied. 3 days following the court hearing, Caldwell proposed a settlement to Leonard. Delilah would recant her allegations of financial mismanagement, returning $50,000 to their shared account. She'd retain the house and they would share custody equally. No alimony would be paid, for she was attempting to evade potential criminal charges, Leonard clarified. I inquired, should I accept it? Pondering my children's well-being, the recent turmoil, and the courtroom dramas, I decided, I want this over. Thus we settled, finalizing the divorce in May. Delilah relocated to an apartment in a different part of town. She forfeited the Mediterranean vacation, losing the deposit. Bryce ceased training her. I learned through a mutual acquaintance that he'd shifted to Arizona. Judge Brennan didn't transfer the case to the DA. I suppose he deemed the public disgrace and financial loss sufficient retribution. The children acclimated gradually. They shared time between houses. Once my daughter questioned me about why Mom lied in court. I said people err when they're terrified, and sometimes these errors wound those they care for. It wasn't a satisfactory explanation, but it was the most suitable response I could offer. I retained the house. I restructured the mortgage. I replenished the savings Delilah had depleted. At times, I ponder what might have occurred if I hadn't examined my bank accounts that evening, if I hadn't discovered the vacation reservation. If Leonard hadn't allowed her to testify, she would have prevailed. She would have portrayed me as the antagonist, seized the house, the children, everything. Instead, she lied under oath. In the wake of our divorce, a few months later, while clearing out the guest house, I stumbled upon some boxes left behind by Delilah. They contained old garments, books, and documents. At the bottom of one box, I found a journal. I almost didn't open it, but my curiosity overcame me. The entry dated 18 months prior to her filing for divorce before Bryce, and during her wellness journey commenced with, I no longer love him. It has been this way for quite some time, yet I cannot leave without having saved enough money. I need a strategy. I perused through numerous entries detailing her scheme to move funds unnoticed. She justified the affair as her pursuit of happiness. She calculated the optimal divorce settlement amount. The final entry, dated February 13, the day preceding her serving me, read, "Tomorrow I am free. He'll never anticipate it." I closed the journal, considering showing it to Leonard for evidence of premeditation, but the divorce was already settled. The agreement was finalized, and since then I've avoided revisiting it. A year has passed, and both the kids and I are in a better place. I've begun dating a software engineer from work who is compassionate, truthful, and open about everything, an opposite to Delilah. Occasionally, people question if I regret how things unfolded. If I wish I'd fought harder or sought more in the settlement, I don't. Here's what I discovered. It's futile to negotiate with someone willing to swear falsely. It's pointless to make concessions with one who plotted my downfall for 18 months. One can't collaborate with someone who prioritized an extravagant holiday over the security of the children. All one can do is safeguard oneself, record everything, rely on honest individuals, and let the facts unfold their own course. This was Delilah's belief. She underestimated me, believing I wouldn't detect the missing funds. She thought she could deceive a judge with false statements without repercussions. However, she was mistaken, and the $40,000 spent on an unattended trip now serves as a college fund for our kids. She invested in their future while attempting to sabotage mine. I see this as justice.